What's up guys, it's Scoopman 5000 back for another action figure review, and this is part 3 of Wave 3 of Super7 TMNT Ultimates, and today we're looking at Metalhead. So this is what I would call the obscure pick of the line. We had some heavy hitters, Michelangelo, Rocksteady, April O'Neil, and then here's Metalhead. Going into the depths of the lore of TMNT, and we're picking out these obscure characters and these old school toys. As you can see, the brown shipping box, Metalhead's name in the middle there, and then flipping that to the back, you could see it's all plain. And I was surprised to see we had a green box this time. I think of Metalhead as a villain. I don't really know a lot about Metalhead. I didn't pick up the cartoon version. This is going to be my first toy exposure. Maybe when we flip it to the back. Well, this is the actual slipcover, so that's just got the logo. But what I meant to say is when you flip open the slipcover, this is the original party robot. Yeah, see, designed as Krang's ultimate weapon, but reprogrammed by Donatello. So I guess I haven't seen that happen, so I thought he was the villain, but cool nonetheless. Looks very busy inside, probably the busiest figure in the wave. But let's go ahead, let's get Metalhead out of this packaging, and let's take a look. And here is Metalhead out of the packaging, the robotic Ninja Turtle. And we'll start out with alternate hands. The figure comes first with the C grip, gripping hands, and all these have some rivets and some details on them. Then he's also got a pair of fists, and then he's got a pair of martial arts hands. And then for his weapons, he does come included with a pair of grenades. These are the same from Rocksteady that we just took a look at. And then he comes with his main accessory, which is this large techno backpack apparatus that clips onto the back and then onto the front of the chest. And you can see on the back he's got like a tracking screen and all sorts of knobs and buttons on there. The backpack has its own accessories. We start with what looks like a satellite dish that pegs into the top, but you can also peg in this corkscrew weapon type of thing. I don't even know how to describe it. And then that also comes as an alternate hand. Finally, we have one more alternate hand, which kind of is a weapon. It has a finger that has a loose kind of hinge on it, and it's revealing this large cord, this cable that Metalhead can use as a weapon. And then this being an homage to the vintage figures, we do get the weapon sprue. Kind of pointless, I guess. Most of the accessories are exactly the same. Obviously, the backpack misses the decal, and the grenades are a bit different, but otherwise these are the exact same. And then finally, he's got an alternate head, and you might not even notice the difference, but the one that comes on the figure has a translucent plastic for his brain and his eyes, and then this alternate is just a solid gray on the inside. So Metalhead, decent on accessories, somewhere in the middle of the plethora that comes with the turtles and kind of the limited accessories that come with a larger character. He's in the middle there, and I think that's to do with the amount of detail on this guy. You could see the sculpt right here. I will say too, right off the bat, he's got those loose hips. He's got the same articulation scheme as the turtles, obviously. Very similar construction to him, but even right out of the packaging, this just feels way too loose for a brand new figure. But that being said, he's standing right now. I can't complain too much, but it is going to be a problem, I think, going into the future when this figure sits on the shelf for a long time. But it's Metalhead, vintage style, obviously different from the cartoon where he was much larger, and we see that with the NECA figure. But this one is around the same size as the Ninja Turtles, as he should be, I guess, in this classical style. After all, he is just supposed to be a metal recreation of a Ninja Turtle. And like I said, sharing pretty much the exact same construction and articulation scheme as those turtles, obviously just a bit more clunky and robotic in terms of its detail and its sculpt, and that way he feels a little bit different when you're moving him around. As for the head sculpt here, there's tons of great details if you look on the face here, but I almost wish, almost like right here where there's a little lightning bolt, maybe we got some silver on the face, because he just does look a little bit flat for a metallic robot. And even for the chest here, the turtle shell and everything, it's a nice gold paint, but I believe that the original toy was like a vac metal. And we don't really get vac metal figures anymore in the modern day, but I think if any line was to bring that back, it should be this one. Around that is the black belt. We got some grenades strapped, some other weapons and miscellaneous items on the back here, and he's got a T in the middle, I guess for turtle. I guess he can't do M because Michelangelo's got that one taken. You can see him slipping there. For the arms, there's some red detail, some yellow, some green at the bottom, some panels are painted in black, and overall some good detail work on this guy. At the legs, it's especially impressive with these silver rivets that are painted each one individually, and the paint is pretty clean for the most part at this scale, at this size. Some panels done in green here. The knees look pretty complex. When you bend them, you could see that this is all just part of the thigh, but it almost looks like this whole part is like a knee piston. And then on the back here, there's also a tube connecting the thigh to the lower leg, and you can see that does flex pretty well when you're going to bend the legs, and he's only going that far anyway, so you're not going to worry about stressing that plastic. And then some green feet here on the bottom to round out the look. And overall, that is Metalhead. For his articulation, like I said, very similar to the Turtles. Head looks up that far, down that far, and then we do get some nice tilting and rotation. Nothing in the torso. Instead, the hips are doing all the work. Feels like a bit limited, like something is stuck in there, but it should be going side to side. Shoulders are pretty standard. Oh, maybe not. They're only going up that far, which is not that impressive. Not even a full 90-degree angle. Then rotation at the bicep. The elbows have an elbow pad here, but it doesn't block it too much. That's really only as far as it'll go anyway. And then the hands do have a hinge and a swivel. Legs are splitting out that far and just really loose on this guy. He definitely just feels top heavy. Doesn't really kick back. Kicks forward a little bit to the side. I showed you the knee before. Pretty weak. And then a pretty decent ankle rocker as well. And that does do it for Metalhead, so now let's go ahead and do some comparison. And here he is with the 3 other Turtles we have so far, the figures he shares the most DNA with. And I think that this looks great. I think that it makes me like Metalhead more seeing all them together. And if you don't want to wait for Donatello to release in Wave 4, I guess you could use Metalhead as your substitute. But some really good stuff here. Obviously all the same size and very similar pieces on them, just a robotic version here. So does what it sets out to do. Showing him with some larger characters in the line, we got Bebop and Rocksteady. And again, just a really awesome look here. Just screaming right at you. This is classic TMNT, and I love seeing all these characters together and building out this line in this universe of TMNT toys. And then here is Metalhead with the obscure picks of each series. Obviously, Mutagen Man. It was Baxter Stockman in Series 1, even though I consider Baxter to be like a main player, but if you compare him to Splinter, to Raphael, to the Foot Soldier, I think he was the random pick of the wave. He was the obscure one. And then Mutagen Man in Series 2, that was totally out of nowhere. This is such an obscure character in the really the grand scheme of TMNT, and then we're getting that here with Metalhead. So not only are we getting the main characters, the Turtles, Shredder, Splinter, all of them, but we are getting a expanded universe, some of the more wacky villains in the line that really made the line different and unique with these gross out looking guys. So really cool lineup here as well. And that is going to do it for our look at Metalhead. And overall, it's a good figure. I can't say that it's a bad one. Maybe just not one I was personally excited about in this line. But it's because I'm still kind of a newbie with Ninja Turtles. I don't know about every single character. Didn't get up to him in the cartoon yet, so I don't have that much to go off of. But what is here is nice. There's a lot of great sculpted details and paint that's all over this figure that really bring out the classic design. And I don't have the classic to even compare this to, but I'd imagine there's just a lot more paint that really brings out some of these panels and technical pieces. The gold color in the middle is nice, and then the backpack, all the accessories, it's a great package. Definitely the least necessary of the wave. You have to have your Turtle, you have to have Rocksteady, and you have to have April O'Neil, but I still think he's a worthwhile addition. In the same vein as Mutagen Man, and then coming up we have figures like Ray Fillet and Leatherhead and all that type of stuff. That's really what separates the TMNT line. As always, I'm going to be taking some pictures of this guy. You'll see him at the end of this video, as well as my Instagram, scoopman_5000. Stay tuned, because we got one more figure left in this wave, and it's the controversial April O'Neil. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.